Hi, guys. Welcome to Stay Podcast.
I know. We're so cute. Yes, Stay stands for Steph and Jay.
Get ready to embark on a soul-stirring adventure that'll leave you inspired, encouraged, and equipped to live a life of purpose and fulfillment.
Listen in as we share our love story with honest conversations about the differences in men and women, how we are way different now in our mid-40s and with each other, and how to elevate your mind,
relationships,
business adventures,
and those around you.
I love you, baby.
Hi.
3, 2,
2,
1.
1.
Beep. Hi, baby.
Take 12. Hi, honey. Oh, here comes the other one with the toy.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, he can lay right there and play with it.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
How's it going?
Oh, man, it's going. How about you?
Well, we'll get to me later. Where have we been?
Man, we've been everywhere and anywhere.
But not here.
But not here. Yeah.
We have a lot going on. It was end of the school year. You started your tour.
Yes.
We just have been super duper busy, and we didn't intentionally not record.
No, it just kind of happened that way. Like, it wasn't a thing where we wanted to be like consistent and then all of a sudden not be consistent.
Right.
But just life happened. And the beautiful thing is that this
Here
is our
we are.
podcast. So
we can do it however we want
yeah,
to.
pretty much.
Yeah.
So
I love it. And we, for the first time in 6 months, have a couple of days to just us.
yeah, for sure.
So here we are showing up for you guys on our time.
Today is Wednesday,
Yes.
Wednesday evening.
Yes.
Yeah. And we said, hey, we should record.
We should record.
And we were like, yes, we should.
We, like, all of the time, we're like, we should really record.
Yeah. But just things happen. But
Yeah.
So we're going to pick the consistency back up. Bear with us. I think that we will probably see a similar pattern throughout the years of this show, which summertime is just a busy time.
It's a busy time.
AJ's out of school. Our ministries are doing stuff, throughout the entire summer, our jobs, everything. So yeah, it is a busy time during the summer. So until we can find the right balance for it, it might be a little bit like this.
Might be a little like this.
Or a little like that.
Yeah. And it works for us.
Absolutely.
Okay, so any news?
Man, where do we start? So the Flavor Fest tour started back in May. The first stop was New York City. That was amazing. The second stop was June 1st in Los Angeles, which was even more amazing.
Yeah.
And then now the next stop is next week in Houston, which is going to be fire. I hear the Houston show last year was one of the best shows on the entire tour, and this year it's probably going to be 10x. We've got KB as the headliner.
Yeah.
Pastor Jerry Flowers is going to be
like
speaking
one of
in the
my
general session.
favorite pastors ever.
Yeah. Pastor Tommy Urban D. Colonin will be speaking in the general session.
Awesome.
It's just going to be an incredible conference, and then the concert afterwards is just going to be super lit. So
yeah, so
I'm
you
excited.
get to perform with KB.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty awesome.
It's kind of like how I used to open for 50 Cent.
Yeah.
Now we're just on this side of the...
I just kind of always find my way into these things, huh?
Yeah, I love it. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll
Any
come
other
back to
news?
me, but how about you? You share some news now. Let's go news for news.
Okay, news for news. I have been coming out of my stuck season.
Yes, you have been.
Which is awesome. I'm just getting very clear on what I'm supposed to do with my business. I've always kind of done a number of things. I like to serve people in a number of different ways, but that can be exhausting, and it doesn't really align with, us moving closer to marriage and all the things and the plans that we have for our family and ministry. And so I've actually been working on and also being afraid at the same time to just really get everything done well. I'm going to be starting to order. I can now order tests as a practitioner for, hormone Dutch tests, the GI map, food intolerances and all of that. So I think I'm going to just really more take the realm of really truly focusing on helping people with gut health. And ironically or not, I'm also going through a kind of brutal something is going on with my body
Yeah.
right now, which is probably too why I'm so excited to just really get back into that focus with all of my clients. So I shared a little bit here and there on Facebook, but basically every single day now, it used to just be very sporadically. I wake up like with a super flat tummy, everything is good, I feel great, and by the first time I eat, sometimes even before I eat, even just drinking water, my entire body just blows up. I've been having like my eyes are kind of freaking out from it. So I'm finally going in. I'm doing my own GI map and all of that stuff, but just going in for some extra testing, trying to see if there's any association with when they found that I have the cysts in my breast and all of that. So
Yeah.
it's depressing for me.
Well, I just want to say that you are doing an incredible job at keeping it together.
Thanks.
And I'm very proud of just how you have been taking charge of everything over the last couple of months, considering, right, all that's going on physically and emotionally with all of this. And so I just want you to know that I'm sure I'm not the only one, but you've got a gang of people that are pulling for you, cheering you on, and super proud of you. So
thank you.
Just you're doing a really good job. So, as a significant other, as a mother, and as a woman of God.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it's very helpful too because you're very kind to me. I just said you're so compassionate about, I have shared on here before that like whenever I would eat meat, I would smell really, really bad. Well, now it can be anything. It's really kind of unexplainable. And it's not just that I'm bloated. It's like I shared a picture the other day where you can see all of the muscle that I have. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing like everything right. But it's not even a bloat. It's like my stomach gets so distended that I can't even suck in my stomach. And you're like, I don't notice a difference. I'm like, okay, I'm like 30 pounds bigger right now. But anyways, it's helpful that you're so supportive because I haven't ever really had, it's depressing to me because I'm always in order.
Yeah. That's the thing about life, right? It goes in ebbs and flows, and you can't have the flows without the ebbs, and you won't have the ebbs without the flows. And so, speaking of ebbs and flows, right? I, as of May, am no longer employed. No longer receiving a paycheck. Things with the staffing agency, just didn't work out the way that we had hoped that they would. And so therefore, my position as a paid employee and VP of business development was terminated. And so, all thanks to the economy. And it is what it is.
Yeah.
But the way I look at it is, God will sometimes just really remove things out of your life that you're not willing to remove, right?
Yeah.
Areas of comfort that are holding you back from the purpose that the Lord has for you. Sometimes those areas of comfort are actually a hindrance of walking in God's purpose.
Yeah, and I just was, even when you were holding that position, I was like, I know you don't like it, really, you know what I'm saying? But like one thing that I admire about you was just, the reason why you kept on with the job in the first place was just your loyalty to who you were working with. And so that's just shows the man that you are also. And now it's propelled you.
Well, I've had no choice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I really, I had started feeling just led to enter ministry in some capacity, and I didn't know how, I didn't know what that meant, right? I just felt a tug, on my spirit. That wasn't the direction that God wanted me in. And you're right, they're my friends that own the company and just incredible people, really amazing people, and I love them dearly. But as the time went on, I could feel myself enjoying working less and less because I really felt that I should be somewhere else with a higher calling and a higher purpose. And so I started to shift my focus, right, since that happened. And I'm more involved with my position that I hold at the church as the director of Crossover College, and really working on that ministry now in a greater capacity. I've gotten back into my personal training with youth, right? So for those of you who don't know, I do speed, agility, and endurance training for kids ages 8 through 12. And I actually started an entire program called Rapid Movement Academy, and it's an 8-week academy. And I absolutely love it, right?
Yeah, and we filled it up fast.
It filled up quick. I mean, I was looking for 10 customers and, 10 paying, right, clients. And I have 9 paying clients, and then AJ, our son, is, the 10th. So it's filled up right now. But I love it. I love pouring into these young men. I love watching them progress. I always bring the word into our trainings, right? And so I'm discipling them at a very young age. It's pretty cool because yesterday during the training, one of the kids' grandfathers actually dropped them off, and he was in the car watching, and he saw us all huddle up at the end and pray together. And he pulled me aside and he said, "Hey, man, I was watching what you were doing out there with the kids." He said, "I think that is just amazing. Like, I saw you praying with them, and you, like, he got teary eyed, and he was just like, this is just great to have my grandson around people at home who love the Lord, but then outside of home who are also, pouring that into him." And so I said, "Listen, I wouldn't have it any other way, right?" And then another young man, when I was like, "All right, it's time to pray," he was like, "We don't ever pray at my house." And I was like, "Well, we'll always pray here." And he goes, "Yes, I love it." Yeah. So, it just really showed me that children are drawn to God, right? It's not until we get older that we're jaded from our faith and from our belief, right? And from that desire, from that desire of something greater. We get jaded as we get older, but as kids, it's actually because it's natural. It's we're born to serve the Lord, right? And so it's just amazing just to kind of see their little hearts being transformed, or just maintaining that soaking in faith even outside of their homes. And so I just feel really honored to be a man in their lives, to be able to provide that for them and share that with them. So that's something that's also, going really well. And I was kind of teetering on like just keeping it as a part-time thing, but I think it's actually going to turn into something much greater. And I'm all for it. I've been praying a lot about it, and I do really feel God moving me in that area. So we'll see. Maybe that's the next thing.
Well, and it's awesome because, again, for those of you who heard the episode of how you and AJ met, that's how we introduced you guys. Yeah. Was you coaching him, because I was like, I need to see you interacting with my kid, and then that was it. Like, you were praying with him. I was the grandpa in the car with tears in his eyes, right? I was just like, what? And so it's just been awesome to see that come into fruition too, because I was like, you should do that. You should train these other kids. And you're like, no. But it was also incredible because at that time you're like, I don't want to train other kids. I want to get to know AJ, so it's awesome how the Lord really works everything out. And also, it was really almost strange. I guess it's not strange because we have such strong faith. But, when you told me, I was like, I don't know why, but I feel like there's a huge weight lifted off of me for you. Probably because I also I don't know. I just feel everything. We do talk about that. But anyways, I felt a weight lifted, but at the same time, like, we were not shaken. Yeah. At all. We weren't shaken when you shared the news with Josh. Josh wasn't shaken, and then I think you said that you were sharing that with our pastors or something, or a group of men, right? And they would just were like, wow. Like, the fact that your family is not shaken just shows also like your character and leadership and all of those things. And, one thing that I just continue to know and say is that, like, we came together at kind of the lowest points of our lives. Yeah. Or what other people would think are the lowest point, right? Like, we both have made a lot of money. We both have had the biggest homes and the nicest cars and all of the things. And none of that's ever mattered to us. And so I just think it's a beautiful thing that, like, even through all of these things, that it's almost, I feel like sometimes like we're a meme, right? Like, we stand up and then there's like a bulldozer that knocks us back over. But, like, we continue to get stronger and stronger through that. And so it's just a beautiful thing.
It's cool because in the beginning when we met and we were both in that really vulnerable space in our lives, we came together and we helped each other to kind of get through that. Now we're together. And so now it's the real test, right? How do you act? How do you coexist with each other when you're having these types of challenges, especially financial issues, right? I mean, that is, the main cause for divorce, right? And so we're here, on the verge of marriage, going through this type of situation. And so I think it's really good in a couple of ways. Number one, we have nothing but our faith to hold on to, but we are a family of faith, right? And so we all lock arms, right? Everyone in our family has locked arms during this time because, they know how challenging it is. I mean, the economy stinks. Everything is super expensive. And yeah, I'm the head of the family, and it feels kind of tough to not be able to provide, right? But, all of you have done such a really good job at supporting and encouraging and also just sharing the same sentiments that I share, which we're not shaken, right? Is there some concern? Absolutely, right? I mean, it's okay to be concerned. That's how you take action, right? But to be panicked and to be stressed and to lose sleep, no, those things don't really exist, right? Because we know that our Lord will provide so long as we continue to press into him and, live according to his purpose and his will. And so, I just, it's beautiful. In my opinion, to see like where we are with that, or even where I am as opposed to where I would have been 5 years ago had this happened.
Yeah,
right?
freaking out.
I would have been a wreck. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that now. Now it's kind of just at this pace. And I'm, working on some things, and you're working on some things, and together we're really just getting through this in such a beautiful and loving way. Like, it really is an incredible thing. And I think that when we come out of the other side of this, like, it's all going to make sense, right? They say faith, I heard Furtick say this once in a sermon. He said, faith is things that make sense in reverse, right? And so, we're not going to really understand it right now, but when we get through to the other side of that fire together, we're going to look back and we're going to say, now I get it. Now I know why.
And I think it's just like, we do know why. Like, we know we're going to be okay.
Absolutely.
And that's really awesome, because I was shaken for the last 2 years. And then it's really weird, but as soon as you lost your job, I was like not shaken anymore. I don't know. And then the other really cool thing has been, seeing you continue to allow me to love you. I know that's was one of your protective parts or whatever, that obviously you allowed me to love you, but it's just that continues to grow and get deeper and deeper. And you just being able to trust that, okay, I can trust her just because of everything you've been through too. And you just have shared a couple of times too, I was praying and God showed me a way. And then I'm like, baby, everything's going to be okay. It's just that easy. God literally continues to show us it's you guys.
Yeah.
It's you.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be okay. So
yeah, it's good.
It's our real love story. It's real life.
Well, that's when you're equally yoked. I mean, seriously, it is so apparent. And the beautiful thing is that I think others see it as well, right? We have the blessings from our pastors. We have the blessings from, all of our friends and church family, right? I mean, they see an equal yoke. Our kids see an equal yoke. Like this is what should have been. And so, I know now y'all are thinking, well, Jay, what are you waiting for? The next step is engagement, or you're thinking. But it's going to happen.
I know it's coming.
But yeah, the unfolding and the development of this relationship though has been not only beautiful but enjoyable as well, right? Even the challenges, to the victories. They've all been an incredible experience that we can take now and kind of put it in one capsule and turn that into what our lives are going to look like, how we're going to handle things, and what our kids can now, model after. So I think it's just a really incredible thing that we have with that.
Yeah, and just seeing, we know it and our kids know it, but really truly seeing the change in them.
Yeah.
For me now, that's the coolest thing. It's just they're just both so confident. I don't know. They love the Lord. They're not shaken. It's just who our family is. And that's awesome. I watching my grandparents when I was growing up. I'm that's us.
Yeah.
Like we are going to have that impact on our grandkids and, all of the things. And that makes me feel so good inside.
Good. What else do we have going on? What are some things that are that we're doing, as some extracurriculars in our lives?
Well, our extracurriculars are always workout related, I feel like. Kayaking.
AJ Sports.
AJ Sports are on a break right now.
Yeah.
He had a week in Panama City, which was awesome. We're figuring out next steps. Are we going to still do travel baseball and he'll go back to football? And I think we decided yes.
Yeah.
He's really crushing it. Kind of all around. He got his next report card, all straight A's again.
Yeah.
I think he had 1B. So yeah, it's just amazing. Right now he's on a cruise.
Yep, he's on a cruise with his dad, having the best time, which is awesome.
Having a blast, but he's literally gone for like the longest he's ever been apart from me. Even Chad, when he broke the news to him on Saturday. So Saturday was Father's Day, and we went to the beach on Saturday. So we had our family day, which was awesome. And then I let you win at bucket ball.
Sure you did. Thank you so much. You're the kindest.
You did.
You worked really hard at letting me win.
But yeah, even Chad was like, okay, what are you doing this week? Okay, well, you want to go on a cruise to the Bahamas? And he was like, yes, and then he said, all right, well, we're going to be gone till Saturday. He was like, that's the longest you've ever been away from your mom. And then when we just talked to him, we were at the grocery store, he FaceTimed and I was like, buddy, have you already grown these last 3 days? And he like shook his head like, yeah. And then he was like, Mom, I'm in public right now. So he's still my baby, but he is growing up and it's super cute. You guys have been doing a lot of like one-on-one and training.
We've been spending a lot of time together and it's been pretty awesome. Awesome.
I appreciate it.
And Josh got his bachelor's degree in nursing, right? He finished in just several months.
Yes.
And now his next move is his master's degree so he can go to become an NP.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Which is so important. I usually only ever see the nurse practitioners.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody is just winning right now on all different angles. Our Christian club. Is back in effect as of July 12th. We have a bigger, better location. We're planning some incredible things with that. So if you guys haven't checked it out yet, follow us on Instagram at The Function Tampa. That's our Christian club here in Tampa. And man, it's just an incredible time. And so we're really excited to bring that back and bring that to the community.
Yeah, for sure.
So a lot of good stuff going on.
A lot of good things. Yeah. So that's our update. We'll come back with more tangible things. We just wanted to kind of get on here and show face and say we love you guys and we miss you. Also, just super thankful for everybody that continues to reach out and just, we're not here for our glory at all.
Right.
But it is very, heartwarming to know that we are helping so many other people just by sharing our story and being super transparent. And I just want to reiterate that, that this is so important. Communication. We are just, and I was not a good communicator ever before. I liked my mouth to run all the time.
Surprise.
I was definitely right all of the time, right? But just completely changing that, and seeing the fruit of that and, just how we treat each other and honor each other and communicate with each other. And even just right now before we started.
Well, I feel like communication sometimes in relationships can have its seasons.
Yeah.
Sometimes those seasons can last a long time. Other times it could just be, in a day, right? But what I mean is that we have to really stay intentional. With how we communicate and when we communicate, right? Like, for example, before we started recording, right? I got on Steph for leaving every light in the house on, right? But
I went from the bathroom to the bedroom to the bathroom. You had to have turned on the bedroom light.
The bedroom light was already on. Yeah, the bathroom light was on. The closet light was on.
The closet light was because I went to.
Yeah,
okay,
I understand.
This is how my brain works or doesn't work like yours. I went to get the blanket, and I brought the blanket out, and you were setting up. And then
you got the blanket. Let them know. You got the blanket from where?
From the closet.
The closet, which has a light.
Light.
Yes.
But there was more things in the closet that I had to gather.
Correct.
That's why I left on the light. Then, along the way, I walked by the bathroom, and I was like, took a glimpse in the mirror, and I was like, oh, I should probably fix my hair right quick before we get on here. So I went in the bathroom and turned on my straightener. And then I went in the bedroom, and as I went in the bedroom, I saw my bag that has my devotionals in it. So then I was like, ooh, I wanted to read this part of the devotional when we recorded today. So that was my little circle. So then I went to go get the devotional. Then I came back out here because I was like, oh, baby, I was going to read this one part because you never want to be surprised. And then you were like, you're going to leave the bed.
No. So I went to the bedroom first.
How long are you going to leave all the lights on for?
Yeah, I went to the bedroom to get something, and then I saw that the bedroom light was on. I'm like, all right. And then I look and I see the closet light is on, and then you're out here reading the devotional or looking for like through pages, and the bathroom light is on, and I'm like, so how long are you going to leave all the lights on?
Yeah.
But all that to say that I probably could have approached it much differently, which is why I was saying the seasons of communication and always remembering to be very intentional in how you communicate, because it's not a bad thing, right?
And it wasn't you weren't rude.
Yeah, and again, like I said I don't know how to say that in a way where you're not going to feel offended, right? Because you weren't meaning to leave all the lights on, and so even the nicest way of saying it, you probably would have felt kind of attacked.
And you know why I was a little attacked? Was because I didn't tell you for that. For like yesterday, we had plans to do, and I asked you like 3 different times, like, should I just go home? Are you going to be too busy? No, just come here and, we'll do whatever. But then you were too busy, and then I just kind of sat here for hours. And so what I really wanted to say was, is it the light or is it that I'm distracted right now? Because yesterday and the 2 days before, you were distracted all day and I didn't say anything. So anyways,
that was part of the discussion, right? I said, listen, I'm telling you so that way you understand the expectations so that I don't blow up in the future, right? Like, we have to let each other know these things. And yes, sometimes it's going to feel like an attack, but as you just let it marinate. And again, our dynamic is pretty different. We don't really stay mad at each other for very long.
No, like, and it was a 35-second fight.
And again, I will not allow for that to like ruin anything. So I'll just right back to my normal self anyway. And you kind of went back to your normal self too. But all that to say that, it's important, y'all. Like, really. And
just for the record, I actually am not a person to just leave lights on.
No.
That's why I was like, okay, dang. Anyways,
sometimes you get a little distracted, but that's a normal thing, though.
That's very normal.
Yeah. So I'm very sorry for how I said it. If I said it in a manner that was offensive, or what's the word? Insensitive.
It wasn't even really insensitive. But I think, again, it is because we actually just do get along so well. Yeah. And like, kind of going back to the beginning when you were always like, I mean, people are going to disagree. And I was like, no, but we don't have to. Like, people are going to disagree or, whatever, have those moments. But we do a really good job. And it is almost cute when we have the disagreements, because
you speak for yourself. It's not. No, I'm kidding. Ain't nothing cute about it. No, I'm kidding. No, but I was just gonna say that it goes back to now we're gonna talk relationship stuff, I guess. Yeah. But it goes back to not always trying to be right. And I'm just thinking about how I would have reacted in previous relationships in that situation. You reacting or responding to how I approached you would have then ticked me off to the point that I would have stonewalled you now for the rest of the evening, right? I wouldn't have said much. I would have just kind of been kept to myself. I wouldn't have been lovey.
I'd be like, hi, baby.
But now I'm like, nah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I don't, because here's what I've learned, right? Like, your feelings are your feelings. Yeah. My feelings are my feelings. Yeah. Neither of them is really fact. Yeah. You know what I mean? The fact is,
just because we heard that once doesn't mean we have to keep
it's the truth, though.
Reiterating.
It's the truth. The fact is that there was 3 different lights on.
Yeah, there was.
And the fact is that I'm saying my expectation is that you turn off the lights after you. Now, or after you're done. Now,
and I was going to turn it off when I was done.
And the fact is that we're gonna turn them off after you were done, right? And you just hadn't gotten to it yet.
Yeah.
So like that's actually the facts around everything that transpired, right? Nothing. Neither of us is right or wrong.
Yeah. In all actuality, there's nothing to be upset about.
Yeah, exactly.
You were like, okay, you're gonna shut off the lights,
so it's
and I was like, yeah, I am going to shut off the lights when I'm done with them.
Yeah.
And then I went in there and I was like straightening my hair with the light off. I was like, no, I'm turning the light back.
Well, I wasn't telling you to turn it off. Like now you were being mad extra. Like, well, I'm going to straighten my hair with the light off. Again, that's not bothering me, bro.
But that is the thing. And I guess that's why I say it's cute. Because same thing, like I would have been mad at you for, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's cute to me because like we fight fair, you know, like even when we're a little elevated, which is like, okay, if that was an argument, like we just don't, fight. We don't play dirty, you know. Yes, we do. Back to that, what you just said a second ago, one of our pastors mentioned that feelings are not facts. And so Jay likes to use that anytime there's feelings now. And then sometimes I'm like, no, one time I was like, okay, but I still have my feeling. And then you were like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's okay. Like, again, your feelings are your feelings. You're entitled to those. And it's my job to validate your feelings, right? But it's not, and it's your job to validate my feelings, right? But it's not your job to allow my feelings to dictate your next move, right? Which is now you getting angry because I've had feelings, or me getting angry because you've had feelings, right? And so like that's where maturity in our relationship comes, right? Where I know you're gonna have the feelings. I knew that saying something was going to offend you. You know what I mean? But if I didn't say it, it was just going to then build.
Get turned off.
Yeah, right. And I was gonna turn it off, but it was gonna build, right?
No, I know.
So I was like, well, do I let it build, or do I just face the facts that she's going to share her feelings here for a few minutes and then we're good to go? Now she understands and we're all on the same page.
Sometimes we just like to fight.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You've even admitted it.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
You like a good debate.
But it's like knuckle sandwich fight. Like, why I oughta.
Yeah, it is. That's what's cute. So get good at communication.
Absolutely.
And what did you say? It's not settling, but what is like the same as lying?
Settling.
Not
okay.
settling.
Tolerating.
Tolerance is a form of lying. So if you're continuously tolerating things, but was I bothering you?
No, you weren't bothering me, but
I was going to say, but all to say, like, if something's bothering you, if the person is bothering you. In fact, what I was going to read in that out of the book that we're reading, so we're doing a 52-week devotional, so once a week we read this thing. First one is on communication. But then before the book even starts, it's mentioning, you know, a lot of people, I think, read through these types of devotionals or like sometimes go to counseling and, you know, whatever. And then they're triggered or they're like, oh yeah, well, he's got to work on that. Mm-hmm. And I think one thing that we know for sure, or you used to say it in the beginning, you'd be like, well, that's a you thing. And I was like, okay, well, every time you said that's a you thing, it's kind of a you thing, right? Like, so if somebody's triggering you or you're constantly like, oh, they need to do this, they need to fix that, it usually is actually you. Yeah. Like you've got to figure it out. Why are you mad at that? You know, or
There's
whatever.
There's a lot of self-reflection that you have to do. And I think that men and women alike have to do that self-reflection. We call it in Warrior self-investigation on a daily basis, right? You'll learn so much about yourself. You'll peel back layers every single day. Yeah. And just not to harp on it, but going back to the light thing, what really not set it off for me, but why I said something was because yesterday a similar situation happened where you didn't even realize that you had left the light on for upwards to like 20 or 30 minutes in the bathroom.
It was 3 minutes. I know.
It wasn't. Because you turned it on to do something,
and then I put
you left
clothes in the.
It wasn't that time. You were on your phone. I think maybe like a customer of yours or something was messaging you, or people from your program were messaging you, and so you got distracted, and it was a long time, and so I just got up and turned the light off. Yeah. So and you didn't even know that all happened, right? Yeah. But
I did.
Today it reminded me of that, and then I was like, okay, if I don't at least share,
you're like, girl, turn the light off.
It's going to keep happening. And I know that you're not doing it intentionally. Yeah. But that was that whole thing of tolerance is a form of lying. If I
Yes.
just tolerate it
Yeah.
and allow for it to then create emotions inside of me,
Yeah.
now I'm not only lying to you,
You wanted to fight
but
me
I'm
for a
lying to
minute?
myself. I don't really want to fight you, but I was
Just kidding.
I'm like, man, it's a 45-year-old woman. You know what I mean? Like, turn the lights off, fool. Nah, but I was just like, I better say something, or else I'm
Yeah.
lying to me and I'm lying
Yeah,
to her.
but
And
that is
was,
a big
that was the
deal.
reason why. That was
Yeah.
actually why I decided to say something.
Yeah.
I was processing all that in my brain.
I saw you working hard on it, actually, as you said it. And I think that's sometimes, too, why when you say things, sometimes the delivery is not, but you're a dude, and you've come, I mean, not that you ever were out of pocket or anything like that,
though.
but I'm just saying, like, I know the past you even without knowing you, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I know how much different this all could be. And so even though it was a little friction for 15 seconds, I still appreciate like how you do speak to me. Like, you've never cussed at me. You've never called me out of my name. That's wild.
Wow. I've learned tact over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I was not the most tactful person.
Yeah. So. I bring a lot of sunshine to the home too.
You do. You are a ray of light. You've got a beautiful smile.
Oh, thank you.
So before we wrap up, do you want to share what you were going to share in the devotional?
That was actually it.
Oh, okay.
How it just was saying, like, get good at communication. Yeah. And then it was, referring back to, the garden and how Adam was like, well, she made me eat the fruit.
Yeah.
So just, more so of saying, like, if there's something that you're always like, he needs to do this, she needs to do that, usually it is more about that self-reflection.
And I want to say that it's normal, right? I mean, we're human beings.
Sure.
And especially in a married couple, when, you're living together and spending, all your time together, there's bound to be some times where communication breaks down.
Yeah.
And I know this for a fact. I won't say any names, but a friend of ours, just asked for prayer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Over communication with his wife. And they've been married, for over a decade. In fact, they've got teenage kids and stuff like that. And he's a really strong man in his faith and everything. And so, he was just sharing very, very briefly and candidly that, he's just in a season where he needs to communicate with his wife better.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that that's a thing that it just happens. Mm-hmm. Right. And so if you're experiencing challenges in your relationship with communication, it's not a problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? What it is a challenge or an issue that you both need to manage. That's it, right? So my advice would be whether, regardless of who is quote unquote at fault or whatever, and as we said earlier, it really isn't anybody at fault, to be honest with you a lot of times, but whoever it is, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Be the better person, be the other person, be the bigger person, be the person with, the heart of God, and say, hey, listen, I know that we've had some challenges lately with how we've been communicating with each other. And I first and foremost want to apologize for maybe how I've said certain things or for what I said or what have you, even if you weren't the quote unquote cause of it, right?
Sure.
Validate their feelings and then start over. Start from scratch right there. That's the beauty of relationship, where you have the ability to do that if you choose to.
If you choose to. Everyone has the ability.
Absolutely.
It's if you choose to. And I think, too, the only time typically that we get a little bit off our rocker, or I get a little off my rocker, is when we don't have, like, for us, quality time is a thing, which we shared about that being so cool, like how our love languages completely changed. Like, we fill all of the love languages, I feel like. But for us, quality time is the most important thing. And it's because, like everybody else, we are so busy. And so that can be a really easy way that people stop communicating well, is because they actually don't take the time to just stop and slow down and, be quiet with one another.
Yeah.
That's where, like, the doing a devotional before bed together, or, whatever it is, where you can just kind of regroup and make sure it's just the two of you. Kids get, I say, in the way. Like, we know that happens when people have children, when there's sports, when there's this and when there's that. At the end of the day, the ministry doesn't matter. The job doesn't matter. None of those things matter if your home is not the solid foundation.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
That's been important for us since really we started dating. That's we're going to do that part different.
And it's important to let the kids know that too.
Absolutely.
Right.
And how life-changing that is for even our kids.
Absolutely. Seeing that we are number one. And because we're number one, they now have a better quality of life.
Absolutely.
Due to it, right?
Yeah.
And it's been apparent, I think for both of our kids, and I mean, the age differences, they're 17 years apart.
Yeah.
And they still see that, right? So don't be afraid.
Don't
be afraid.
Admire it. They adore it. They, a number of the people that we talk to, they do share that. Like, well, our kids don't listen, or they run all over us, or, whatever. And it's like, at the end of the day, they're still the kid.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay to have a family meeting
and
say, listen, this is how things are going to be.
Yeah.
Your mom is number one, and, and she, lets them know that, that dad is number one. And because of that, we're all going to be better.
Yeah.
And so allow some space in your relationship and in your family for that, because that is kind of where the challenges begin to happen. That's where the breakdowns begin to happen, because the mother and the father, the husband and the wife, that's the center of the family.
Yeah.
A lot of times when kids come into the picture, the quote unquote center changes, but it doesn't change. Just the focus kind of changes, right? The focus, you both are now focused more on raising a child, but you're still the center of that family. God is still, who you guys are accountable to, and then, you're accountable to each other here on earth. And then that kid is next, right? And so I think that if you share this with your children in a loving manner, and you also show them, right? You just don't tell them, but you show them, right? Then that's important. A lot of times,
a lot of times the showing is much more important. Many times you don't owe your kids any explanation.
Well, like there's times where I'll come to your house, right? And for those of you who don't know, in order for me to get to the kitchen or any other area of the house, I have to walk through a hallway, and AJ's room is right off that hallway. So his room is what I see first.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times where he'll be in his room playing his game or whatever, and I almost walk into his room to say hi to him because it's just the first person I see, but then I have to correct myself and say, no, I need to say hi to her first, right? And I want him to see that. So I'll go over to you, hug you, kiss you, and then I'll go over
and
he
say comes
hi to
running
him.
out, and then it's a family hug too.
Yeah.
And
so, even that, just that intent, right? And I'm not
and
saying...
you also have to get past the two dogs. And they
attacking me at the door.
They're like, Dad's here, Dad's here. Like, it's...
biting my fingertips and stuff.
Kicking the back of your knees.
But, it's all just to share with you that, and with the dogs, that you are number one, right? You come first. I say hi to you first. I give you a kiss first. I greet you first. And then everybody else comes after that. And that's just the way it is. That's the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that that's important. I really do. I think it's important because it also models to our kids what a healthy marriage or a healthy relationship between husband and wife or significant other should look like.
Because think of all the people, and like if you could feel how tightly too we hold hands, like we're literally sitting on the couch, but everywhere we go, we hold hands.
Yeah.
In church, walking in church, in the car, wherever. And remember the one day, I can't remember if we were at Armature Works or something, and I just was looking around and I'm like, nobody's holding hands.
Yeah.
Like nobody's holding hands. Everybody's on their own device.
Yeah.
Even the kids, like there's so much, you just lose that. Yeah. And, I'm not ever willing to lose what we have.
No, absolutely not. So, well, that's our time.
Yeah. We were done once.
That went quick.
What time is it? Oh.
Yeah. We started at a 6:15.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we have a couple edits to do.
Yeah.
But, it'll be fun for me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt.
For doing that on top of all the other things.
Well, I got some time now.
Yeah.
So, listen, if y'all need prayer, please reach out to us. What's our email address again?
StephanJPodcast
@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So send us an email, please. We would be more than happy to pray for you. If you need advice with anything, I mean, we're not marriage therapists, we're not counselors, but we have a heck of a lot of experience in how not to do things, and now we've got great experience in how to do things, right? And we've got a lot of people just really helping us out on the back end as well, that we're affiliated with that really teach us a lot. So, we would love to help you in that way. We'd love to pray for you, and we want to see your relationships succeed as well.
Yeah, for sure. So. All right. God bless you guys.
Take care. Hey, thanks for listening, everybody. Do us a solid and share this episode and tag at @TheJMiranda and @Steph_View. Please also review us on whichever platform you're listening on so we can grow.
If you need our prayer, please reach out to us on Instagram. But ladies, don't be sliding into my man's DMs. And fellas, clearly I'm already taken.
Tune in next time.